So basically here we have 2 tanks of Aspidor spilotus. These are one of the first cories that we actually started spawning when we got back into fish. This is actually the original colony that we started with probably about 2-3 years ago or so.
Okay.
And then the ones next to them are actually the offspring, the second batch that we started, another colony that we started. Like with these guys, like we do have 2 colonies of the tequilas. 2 batches came from two different wholesalers who got them from 2 different vendors, and then we have some in another tank also that came from a private breeder. So we're mixing up the bloodlines to make sure they stay true. The Vitatas, the group that have been growing out, so we'll have to move them pretty soon. I think they're getting pretty good size on them now.
Did you get these from a local breeder? Or?
No, these actually were from a vendor.
Okay.
We just picked them out, which we thought males and females, and just been conditioning them now for a while.
Do we know if it's nose length or width or anything? Or
so it's nose length, and then also you could see like on this one has little bristles on the edges. So it has the odontos just like a typical pleco would. That's the little bristles around the edge, just like a red wood-tailed cat would, or a red lizard would.
Yeah.
And these are con colors. There's a pretty good sized group. There's actually about 20, so I just need to pull some out to separate to try to breed them now. They've been growing for a while.
What's with the rocks in this tank?
I was just trying to see if these guys had the hill streams happen to spawn, or even if the quarries. I haven't had any luck with the axle eye spawning, so sometimes I notice with some of the quarries that they kind of like to spawn behind objects that are not quite in direct of the water current. So I was seeing if that would get them going, but
nice.
Nope, no luck. And this one is the Similis.
Oh, nice.
These guys have spawned quite a few times.
It's almost like a purple spot. I like those guys a lot.
Yeah. They don't get very big. They seem to be pretty tolerant so far of anything I throw at them.
And a thriving colony of Hedorana formosa.
Yeah. I got to throw those out in a pond too.
Nice.
Hopefully they do better out there. And these guys are
awesome.
The Barbatus. So these guys will spawn pretty often during the winter time and fall. They don't like the warmer temps, so they kind of shut down spawning for me.
Nice.
And then all the fry are actually Pasilia mexicanas. So the original parents are actually F2 from Wild.
Nice.
I can't remember what the collection point was on them. A friend of mine was collecting, and he brought the parents back. A friend of him brought the parents back, and then I got fry from those. CW51s.
Those guys are they call those the giant pandas?
Yeah, they call them giant pandas
awesome.
also.
Those are awesome.
This light makes them look like they all got like fuzzy on them.
They are pretty big.
Yeah, they're pretty beefy.
Yeah.
I did a water change on them just the other day, and I actually started seeing them like chasing around. So
how often do you change water on most of the tanks?
It kind of depends. Sometimes it's once a week, or sometimes it's every 2 weeks. Sometimes it's like with some of the quarries, they seem to like the pH to drop. So like with the Sturbe, if I allow the pH to kind of crash down to like to the 5s, and they'll do a water change. Usually within like 24 to 48 hours after a water change, they'll spawn.
All right, so what we got up here?
So up here we have our group of Rio Tapas, some adults, some grow outs. We'll probably put some out in the pond just because I like to put these guys out in ponds. They do really good.
Yeah.
Then we have some L180s.
Oh, weird. They have like almost a little sword on it, like at the bottom.
Yeah. There's a male, and there's another over here. Usually there's a male hiding out in the cave. Might not be.
Yeah, not today, apparently. That's a 20 long, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and you're doing the move I want to do a video about. They're putting the elbow on the uplift tube to direct the flow.
Yeah, I love doing that just because it kind of pushes all the current. It pushes all the debris a lot of times to the back, especially if you face it forward.
Yeah.
So it kind of keeps all the debris in one area, so it's easy to siphon out.
It's like black water over here.
Yeah. These are my 333s.
Oh, nice.
So these are all wild caught. I had more, but after the fires and stuff, we didn't keep up on stuff. Yeah,
you guys had those crazy fires last year and everything.
Yeah. So we lost kind of our big breeders at that point, so we're kind of letting these guys.
You got fires to deal with, you've got droughts to deal with.
Yeah.
Like, you're not exactly in fish keeping heaven.
No. And the cardinals we just threw in, these are just, captive bred.
Nice.
These are just farm cardinals, nothing crazy. I just wanted some dither fish in there for them, guys.
Oh, wow, that's a cool tank.
So yeah, these are the 494s.
Yep. I love that fish.
We've been growing these guys out. And so it's these guys we got as babies from Eric.
Yeah. Beckatine on YouTube.
No, not Beckatine.
A different
Eric Broadrock.
Oh, okay, Bowdrock, yeah.
So these actually came from him, from Oddball Aquatics. And so we got them as young, like, I can't even remember, probably maybe an inch or so.
Huh.
And so we had them in a different tank, and they were just always hiding. And we couldn't figure out how to get them out. Yeah. We couldn't figure out how to get them out. And so we had a ton of ram fry at the time. So my wife had the idea. I was like, well, since they like similar temp water, let's just toss them together and put them in a bigger tank and
smart.
see what happens. So it actually worked out really good because now every time they see the rams come up to the surface to feed, they will actually come running out and will feed off the surface
so I've got
also.
that problem. Mine are alone right now.
Yeah.
So I gotta get something in there.
Yeah, it's a huge change in like behavior with these guys.
Nice.
I mean, I'm glad she thought of it.
Whoa.
So
Dang, those got some color.
Yeah, these are supposedly an Ed Parker line of neon swords.
Those are awesome.
Yeah. Nice, big, boisterous. I mean, they're just really out there. We've
thrown these out breed it to get that red.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's one of the like few lines that we like. Like usually the swordtail stuff, if it's not wild, then it's a specific line that we particularly like. So
I should mention right now, because we know it's going to come up, you don't ship fish or anything, right?
I do not ship fish.
Local,
No.
like in Napa Valley, like you'd have to drive here.
If you, if you walk into my room,
this, they're gonna go, hey, I gotta have it.
Unless you go to San Francisco Aquarium Society or Sacramento Aquarium Society, where I do take stuff to auction, then the other option is to come by and pick them up from here direct.
This is a fish I might have to arm wrestle you for.
I think
really
you can
like
make something happen.
Those are really cool.
Yeah, yeah. Been pretty happy. They stay they've stayed really true. I mean, you really don't have to like do much culling at all with this particular line either, which is the other thing I really like. Is like a lot of times you'll get lines where you have to cull really heavy because it's either, you know, genetic issues or color or something. But no, these guys have stayed pretty true now for like a year and a half, 2 years maybe now.
And up top,
L204.
Yeah, the Pinox, pinstripe Pinox.
So there's I think there's 3 or 4 in here.
Those look good.
Yeah,
nice leer tail.
Been doing really nice. We had a group of them of like 5, I think, or 4, and same from the fires we kind of neglected.
What is this, like a 15 gallon?
This is a 15, yeah.
So it looks like you got 15s up top, or
15s and 10s.
Okay. And the middle row is mostly 20s.
On these, yeah, they're all 20s.
Cool.
This is kind of like the footprint that kind of works out.
Yeah, so you can go 3 tall.
Yeah. We're all kind of short, so.
Ooh, betas. Strawberry bettas. I love these guys.
Yeah, there's a trio in here, so hopefully the next month or so, if the weather stays more consistent, these guys will go outside. These are Beta Cocina. These have had spawn indoors already for like a couple times.
Wow, they look good.
These are all, most of them are wild caught. Like I said, I've had them spawn a couple times, so I know there's been at least 2 or 3 fry that have made it to juvenile stage. But yeah, the males are just so cool.
It's a good looking fish.
Yeah.
And these are super cool.
Yeah. My little pipefish.
It's all live daphnia, which you can see is live daphnia system outside. Daphnia is playing hell with the autofocus trying to focus on these fish, but see if Jimmy can do better than I can.
Yeah, I've never been successful at keeping pipefish before. And then once I started keeping more live foods and keeping the daphnia, I was like, well, that was my problem before. Let's give it a whirl and give it a try. And so far I've had these guys for like 3 or 4 months, I think, and we've been real successful keeping.
And so with that much daphnia in there, when will you refeed the daphnia in there?
Probably 3 days.
Okay.
So usually about 3 days.
So I've had this question because I've done this, but you probably have more experience with me now. Do you find that any of the daphnia gets sucked into the sponge filter?
They do. It just kind of depends on the tank, though. So on like this one, the air is actually turned down because pipefish don't like the current.
Right.
So it's not big of a problem.
Okay.
Other tanks, like where the plecos or the cories, where I have the air full on, yeah, they'll get sucked in. But with those tanks, the fish will just go in there and pluck the daphnia out anyway.
Okay.
So it's not that big of an
Good
issue.
to know.
Well, these are some blue galaris.
Nice.
So these are guys we've been growing out.
You gonna do those outside or staying inside?
You know, I keep thinking about putting them outside just because I have such a hard time. Like I've had them lay and I've collected eggs, but you know, getting them to hatch is just, I've had such terrible luck with them.
So let's talk about that for a second. Do you think it's easier to raise fish outside than inside?
Certain fish, yeah, a lot easier. And then what's nice about outside is that basically Mother Nature just kind of culls the weak. So,
yeah.
Don't have to worry about that part of it. You know, if it can handle the conditions of temperature change, season change outside, extremes. You know, if they can handle all that, then you know, I would say it's a pretty hardy fish, so it's easier to keep.
Good point. So first, what are these? Like I was asking you, where do you get these totes? Because they're 75-gallon totes.
So yeah, these are 75-gallon totes. I believe they're roughly 4 foot by 4 foot by 12 inches tall. And so these are basically like hydroponic. You can go to the hydroponic store and find them there. They end up being pretty close to like $1 a gallon. I think the 75. The first ones I bought were like $75 or $80, something like that. Here, there's some swordtails in here. They're probably in the back. They just came in.
Yeah, they look like they're hiding.
You might be able to see them from the other side.
Oh yeah, that's a nice feature. Oh yeah, you can see them in the back.
So those we actually just got yesterday. Yesterday or the day before, so we just threw them out in the pond. So we actually have the 3 groups now.
Nice.
They're inside, and then this third one. Just because when they're outside, they seem their color seems to be nicer. They seem to grow a little bit faster, and they tend to, you know, in the bigger ponds, larger water volume, obviously they grow a little bit bigger too. So this one actually has a reverse trio of Apistogramma agassizii. So you probably are going to find them.
Yeah.
They're pretty, they like to hide out everywhere.
But that's the great part, is it's a wonderland. A 75-gallon tank for a trio. It's like spawning heaven.
So we'll probably put some tetras out here at some point. It's just the temperatures weren't quite consistent enough.
Yeah.
But I think they are now, so I just got to figure out exactly which tetras I wanted to throw out. Like me, I'd love to throw some Congo tetras out here just because I've had Congos when I was a kid, and that's kind of my kick.
That'd be
right
fun.
Now, is this, you know, getting fish that I used to keep when I was a kid now. So it's kind of nostalgic, and I just thought it'd be cool to watch them running around. So here's some daphnia.
So this is like a backup culture of daphnia where you see a few in there.
Yeah, that's my starter culture I'm doing right now.
Here, take this net, 'cause this net's what makes it cool. And so this is like a 300-gallon tote. And this is the magic of your fish room, I think. Do you have to hatch brine anymore?
I do every now and then.
Yeah.
Not as much as I used to, because now since I just, you know, basically sift the...
Yeah, for different sizes. Oh my god. I can't believe... I mean, I've only ever had that much once, and it was when I was doing it indoors. But when you can make like a fistful of it, and people always ask me. So when I did put out a daphnia video this week, they're like, "What do you do about the mosquito larva?"
That's just more food.
That's what I said. I said you just feed it to the bigger fish, right?
Yeah. So
I'm 99% sure you can put mosquito dunks in here, and the bacteria will fight out the mosquitoes and not kill the daphnia. But why? When it's just more varied protein.
Yeah, I mean, like we get like there's actually like 3 different sizes of mosquitoes that will actually, you know, hatch in here. And so what I do is I actually take the daphnia and I sift it, and so I get 2 different sizes. I get the smaller and the larger, and so all the smaller stuff goes to all the smaller fish I'm growing out, like the cichlids, the pipefish. That's pretty much what gets that, and everything else gets the big stuff. You know, the puffers, the you know, the larger cichlids, the bigger betas, like the pugnacs. They go crazy for this stuff. And so yeah, it's just like,
give me the 60-second breakdown. How do you keep these daphnia going? What do you do?
So I use all old tank water.
Okay.
Basically, I have I just recycle all when I'm doing water changes, I recycle all the old tank water to use into this.
Okay. How do you get the water out? Like, so if you're gonna put water in, do you just...
Usually what I'll do is I'll put I'll either just drain it directly out,
Uh-huh.
or I'll just put a nozzle on the end and just pump it out and let it drain out. So what I did with like that one, because I restarted that one, was
And you don't lose daphnia doing that?
so
or?
what I do is I basically have it go through the net
Okay.
into a bucket. So here's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
So I have this nozzle that gets have a nozzle gets attached. You plug a hose to it that actually has another shut off.
Okay.
This sits in here at an angle,
Yep.
and it just basically goes into this and then just overflows out of the bucket. And
Nice.
so that's actually how I caught. So this is actually daphnia that I caught from this container originally, but I've already fed out of it like 3 or 4
Right.
times.
Okay.
So there's not much left.
So you're doing water changes to old tank water.
Old tank water, and I really don't change water that often. I really, honestly, I probably top off more than I change.
Is that like once a month, once every 3 months?
I top off like once a week,
Okay.
especially like with the weather right now.
Yep.
It's at least once a week I'll top it off, and then really I'm kind of playing around with not really changing the water at all. It
Sure.
seems to work better if I don't change the water.
That's what I've been finding too, which is counterintuitive.
Right, and so I think it just, everything that's in there that's breaking down, the organic material, everything that's in there just breaks down to help feed the green water, and so the daphnia just eat it as soon as it grows. So then the bigger part from that is then not allowing it to crash, because you have so much daphnia that you can't feed it all, and that's the problem I actually had with that. So this is the growth I got from the last time that we talked, which was when I showed you the
Like 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago. So this
Yeah.
is 2 weeks of growth.
Yeah, because you had crashed 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in 2 weeks you can see how much it explodes in size.
And you do feed a bit, right?
I do. So I just use straight. I basically take water out of there, and then I'll put like 2 teaspoons or a teaspoon, depending on how much growth is in there. I'll do a teaspoon or 2 teaspoons of spirulina powder,
Okay.
shake it up, and then pour it in there, and that's it. I don't use
Nice.
any kind of anything. I don't use anything else. That is all I do. Nothing crazy.
I could do that.
Yeah.
I could get a milk container, and I might do that.
That seems to be like a friend of mine from the San Francisco club. We were going back and forth because he was being successful keeping it in 5-gallon buckets outside.
Yeah.
And so we had a discussion, and I was like, well, I'm just doing too much. I'm putting too much sour cream on the taco.
That's
it's like,
right.
I'm trying to aerate it and do all this, and I was not having any luck at all. So when I did it after watching a little bit of your video and then talking to him, I was like, oh yeah, I'm just going to leave it alone. And then that's when I just...
Clearly it's thriving.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's clearly thriving.
And even during the wintertime, it slows down, obviously, but it's still...
Nice.
It still does really, really good. So in the summertime or in the wintertime, what I actually do is to help keep the heat in, as I tape these in, so it helps retain heat, so it doesn't get as cold.
That's smart. I gotta get smarter. I come here to get smarter, so that's what I do. I travel the country stealing everyone else's little secrets, and then I look smart when I show them to other people. That's my trick. I'm coming clean today.
You just ratted yourself out.
That's right.